Let me take you back to that ordinary Saturday, the kind where the world feels just heavy enough to make you want to pause. Sunlight spilled through our kitchen window, illuminating a cluttered wooden table covered in bills and reminders of life's responsibilities. Have you ever found yourself stuck at such a crossroad, wondering how you'll manage it all? That was me, torn between work deadlines, single parenthood, and the silent ache of grief that never really leaves. My son Ethan entered the scene 16 and suddenly taller than me, with that uncanny knack for sensing my moods. He saw right through my mask. "Mom, you look stressed again," he said. In that moment, I realized he wasn't just my child anymore. He was growing into someone capable of understanding, of helping. But I hesitated. How much should I let him in on my adult struggles? Now, you might be thinking, isn't it risky to share our burdens with our kids? And you'd be right, there's a delicate balance. But as I slid an envelope to him, asking him to help sort bills, I recognized a small act of trust. In technical terms, I was redefining boundaries, something psychologists call parental scaffolding. It's like letting your child help you build a house, handing them a tool instead of just watching from afar. Ethan dove in, methodical, determined. That's when he found it. An envelope not meant for his eyes. A slip of paper, but really a key to old memories. Suddenly, this kitchen wasn't just a place for morning coffee. It became a stage for the unexpected, for revelation. The setup was simple. A mother and son, bills and sunlight. The conflict? The sudden surfacing of the past. And as we sat there in the golden light, I realized, sometimes, the moments that upend us are also the ones that set us free. The kitchen table became sacred ground, the place where our story and healing truly began. Now, let's talk about that moment, Ethan. Staring at an old letter addressed in his father's handwriting. The air thickened with silence. My heart pounded. What would you do if you knew a single sheet of paper could break your child's heart or heal it? That envelope was more than just stationery. It was, in psychological terms, an emotional time capsule. Like opening a file on an old hard drive, you never know what you'll find. Joy, grief, or maybe both. Ethan's eyes searched mine, hungry for connection. "Can I read it?" he asked. For years, I'd kept those letters hidden, afraid of reopening wounds. But here's the truth. Sometimes protecting our children means keeping them in the dark, but sometimes it means handing them a flashlight. I nodded, voice trembling. He unfolded the letter, and I watched as words written years ago reached across time to touch him. Now, you might wonder, is it fair to let the past into the present like this? It's a risk. But as Ethan read, his face changed, tears welled, and for the first time, I saw him grasp the weight and warmth of his father's love. That's the paradox, isn't it? The things we hide to protect are sometimes the very things that help us heal. In family therapy, they call this intergenerational transmission, the passing down of memories, beliefs, even pain, through stories and artifacts. But when we face these legacies openly, we transform them. That afternoon, a hidden letter turned into a bridge, a way for Ethan to meet the father he lost too soon, and for me to share a burden I'd carried alone. So, the resolution? We didn't crumble. We connected. And in the hush of that kitchen, sunlight and sorrow mixed, making room for something new, hope. Over the next few days, our home became a safe harbor for stories I'd tucked away. Ethan, once content with brief memories, wanted to know everything. His father's off-key singing, his stubborn refusal to ask for directions, the tears he shed the day Ethan was born. Can you picture those moments, the laughter, the tears, the way memory turns ordinary events into treasured folklore? Every time I answered his questions, I realized I wasn't just filling in the blanks for him. I was healing, too. This is the magic of narrative therapy, a technique where telling your story helps stitch the fabric of your life back together. Think of it as updating your phone's operating system, integrating old files so your heart runs smoother. Now, you might ask, doesn't talking about loss just make the pain worse? Sometimes, yes, but more often, it allows us to find meaning, to rescue love from the wreckage. We shared laughter over silly anecdotes, cried over missed milestones, and together, constructed a mosaic of a father Ethan could finally see. The conflict, the ache of missing pieces, softened with each story told. And the resolution? We found strength, not in forgetting, but in remembering together. Our living room, once a quiet place for solitary grief, became a workshop for resilience. This was the transformation, not just a mother and son surviving loss, but a team building hope from the blocks of the past. And isn't that what family is, after all? Just when I thought the discoveries were over, Ethan found another envelope, this one unopened, with his name in his father's unmistakable hand. My breath caught. What would be inside? Imagine receiving a message from someone you've lost, a direct download of love and belief, encrypted in ink. That's what it felt like as Ethan read silently, then pressed the letter to his heart. He whispered, "He said he believed in me before I even believed in myself. Tell me, have you ever been given a gift so profound that it rearranges how you see yourself? That's what this was, a transfer of emotional inheritance." In neuroscience, we talk about mirror neurons. When we witness another's emotion, our own brains light up in empathy. That day, Ethan's sense of self shifted. Now you might be thinking, what comes next after a revelation like that? In our case, it sparked a new ritual. That night, Ethan knocked on my door, letter in hand. I think I want to start writing too. Maybe not to Dad, but to myself. For the future. It was his way of building a bridge one word at a time. This is what psychologists call expressive writing, a simple act proven to reduce anxiety and foster growth, like updating your own software. But this time, you're the coder. Every night, I'd hear the pen scratch as Ethan wrote, processing his feelings, connecting past with present. The resolution? Gratitude replaced grief. Ethan's journal became a testament to his journey not just of loss, but of becoming. And I realized, sometimes the most powerful legacies aren't inherited things, but the traditions we dare to begin. Let's bring it full circle. One Saturday, Ethan sat down, journal in hand, and read to me words brimming with gratitude not just for memories, but for the strength he'd unearthed. Can you imagine the pride and ache mingling in a mother's heart at that moment? I whispered, "You're not just growing up. You're growing into the kind of man your father always knew you'd be." Here's the heart of it. The secret Ethan discovered wasn't just in the letters, but in the realization that love, when revealed, not hidden, can shape us in ways we never expect. You might wonder, isn't family about protecting each other from pain? Maybe. But more than that, it's about sharing truth, opening doors to the past so our children know where they come from. In anthropology, they call this cultural transmission, passing values and identity through stories and keepsakes. Our family's legacy changed that day, not just because of what we found, but because we chose to let it in. Ethan's world expanded. So did mine. The conflict shouldering loss alone gave way to resolution, connection, understanding, hope. And if you've ever doubted whether a single letter, a single moment of honesty can alter the course of a life, let me assure you it can. I see it every time Ethan smiles, his father's words alive not just on paper, but pulsing in his heart. So here's my invitation. Don't keep your love or your stories locked away. Open them. Share them. Because the bridges we build between past and present are the ones that carry us bravely into the future.